So Denzel Curry has only released this to YouTube. It's not on any streaming services, which is a little bit annoying. It starts out on Intro, which is an instrumental, and it's a fucking banger. I really want to know who produced it, but I can't find anything for it online. Like, maybe he did it, but I don't know. But if the producer is watching, shout out you. Obviously, the theme of the album is like dark, heavy, and like it just goes hard. And the instrumental set the scene perfectly. It wasn't too hard off the bat. It slowly ramped up, and it let you know pretty well what was in store. Second track is called Charlie Sheen, and it features Ghostmane. I'm actually really impressed by the features on this mixtape as well. He's, of course, got Zillikami, City Morgue, Xavier Wolf, SHWB. I don't know if like you say that, like Schwab or something. AK and the Underachievers. Like this man has been on the Jimmy Fallon show, and he's still making music with people that help build him up. Like, these people are not mainstream friendly. And Zell could have easily just said, like, nah, give me Drake, give me Post Malone. But instead he's sticking with his day one, so I admire that. In Charlie Sheen, he's got a really nice line that reflects this really well as well. Got no friends and I got no peers, but a neighbour got fam and they all right here. That's very wholesome, very lovely. And Ghostmane went the fuck off, actually. Like, I used to be a fairly big Ghostmane fan, and then I teed it off a little bit. He was getting a little bit too cringy, but like, he did go off on this verse. He has a very like diverse set of styles, and I think that's displayed very well in this song. For the first half of his verse, he's rapping really fast. Then he does one line singing. He kills that as well. That sounds really good. And then he goes into like a dark whisper kind of thing. It is a bit of a cunt to play, considering it's just on YouTube, but I will play it just this one time. So in case you're wondering when Ghostmane comes in, I'm going to be playing at about 2:15 on the entire thing. It's like 13 minutes long. Like, that's impressive. Well, that's very, like a very fluid kind of style. I really love that singing bit. I play that all the time, like I replay it. The third track is called Evil Twin, and it features his evil twin, Zillikami. They share a chorus. They sort of go like line for line at times. And it's honestly difficult to tell the difference between the two. They sounded so similar. The second verse, which belongs to Zell, has a nice line in it, which I think is clever, but it could be much better. He says, lactose, you ain't making bread, so now you lack toast. But I think it would have been better if he said something like, you ain't making bread, now you lack toast, milk and clout from those around you, something like that. Like, rather than just say the word lactose at the start of the line.
Right.
Like, have something that, like, infers lactose, like milking,
Right.
you know, money, clout from more famous friends.
I get you.
Up next is Welcome to the Future. It features Xavier Wolf, and Zell murdered his verse. He started out with, imagine this ratchet shit that I spit, and it just got better from there. False God's freestyle is pretty good. It's got a few different flows that are all like decent. It's just got one verse. It's pretty short, and you can tell it's just a snippet that never made it onto a song. Posh God Shit is up next, and very similar to the last track, you can tell that it's just a snippet, which it isn't a bad thing, because that's what this mixtape is, but it doesn't sound very good. You can tell that it's unfinished. Second last track is No Pen, No Pad. I'm not a huge fan of it. It's not inherently bad, but it's just got no redeeming qualities. And he starts the verse off with, I be the shit like a diaper, which is a bit sus. And finally, Gogeta is the last track, which features AK the Savior. Nothing great lyric-wise, but the production has a very like garage-type feel to it. It does sound really good. I'm not too sure how to rate this mixtape. It is quite difficult, because it's not what he wants to put out, which is why it's not on any streaming services. It's just good music that he feels like shouldn't be just left behind, but it doesn't fit on any albums.
Right.
So he sort of just put it all in one, like he's mushed them all up and just put it out there. So not too much thought has gone into that, and you can tell, but that's not the point of it. Like, there's not meant to be thought going into that. So it is fairly difficult to rate. There wasn't like a little bit of thought in the order that the song should go, because there were a few like flawless transitions that were nice. But to me, the biggest flaw is that it just feels unfinished, even though it's not meant to be. It's a little bit confusing to rate. I am happy he released it though, rather than just throwing the scraps away. And I do think more artists need to do this. But I will listen to it again. I have listened to it again, and I'm glad I listened to it. I'm going to rate it a 5 out of 10, but don't let that sway you into not listening to it. I would recommend you do it, but go in there expecting to hear unfinished work. It's definitely not like a complete project.